who's ready. And the Yankees have done something with every single one of those guys, with Greg Bird, even going back to 2016 with Sanchez and Judge. I'm like, who the hell are these people? But they're killing it.
Quite honestly, every A prospect for the Yankees has worked out. I can't think of the last one to fail.
They're either utilizing them, traded them, and they're thriving in their other environments, or they just traded away players who were supposed to be prospects that didn't work, and it worked out for the Yankees.
You may have to go back to Slade Heathcott.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
I remember him. That failed. Eric, Conforto's stats.
And just really quick, Slade Heathcott, I think, ended up with the Giants. I don't even think he's in the majors anymore. This year, he has 145 at-bats, 241 average, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs, 1 stolen base, OPS of 758.
Yeah, he's not doing that well. 240 is good for a backup, not good for an all-star.
And see, I think the problem for the Mets is if they were to do what me and Jacob were saying, is just burn it to the ground, is that nobody's going to show up to the games for the rest of the season. And is that something that
they're not showing up anyway?
Yeah, but
that's a risk you need to take. And to be honest, if you really want to sell off these players and rebuild your farm system, it's going to sting, but you have to do it. You have to trade Syndergaard and DeGrom.
Before it gets better.
They need to do what the Marlins did. We've all criticized the Marlins for trading Gordon, Stanton, Ozuna, Yelich, thank you. The reality is they are in a better spot now than they were with those guys. Derek Jeter had a choice. He could either put together a team that would hover around 500 and wouldn't contend for a World Series, or tear everything down and build from the ground up. And if you look at the Marlins' top 10 prospects, they are really, really good.
He made a good decision.
He made a fantastic decision. The Marlins right now are in a better spot than the Mets. How about that?
And that's saying something. And when you look at the standings, it's not telling you that. But when you're looking at, 3 to 5 years long term, if the Mets do what the Marlins are doing right now, we might say this is really bad. This team is really bad anyway. But, in 3 to 5 years, we might say, hey, Derek Jeter's a genius and the Marlins are a really good team. We don't exactly know. But I think sometimes, I think this Mets team at best is going to fight for a wild card spot and be no more than 5, whatever games above 500. And they're going to get knocked out of the wild card spot. They have no chance. Their pitching isn't healthy. They have no lineup or very little at all to begin with. And they're just the Mets.
If you ask me, and without it just saying typical Mets, if you ask me, I don't think we're going to know what this Mets team is, other than the fact that you might think that they're a lousy team, until the trade deadline is over.
Exactly, because that's when you really see who's going to be a buyer and a seller. Are we going to see the Mets make a splash for somebody like Cespedes, and where they did in 2015? And
they can't. They don't have anything to give up.
That's the problem.
If you look at the Mets prospects, they're non-existent. They don't have a single top 100 prospect. If you look at a team like the Marlins, they have 9 guys that I can point to and say, these guys are going to be really good players. Eric, are you looking up Marlins prospects?
Yeah, I got it already.
Okay, hold on. Just read me the names.
Number 1, Monte Harrison, an outfielder.
Going to be a really good player. They got him in the Yelich trade, I think.
Sandy Alcantara.
Right-handed pitcher. They got him in the Ozuna deal.
Familiar name, Jorge Guzman, number 3.
Yeah, the Marlins got him from the Yankees in the Stanton deal.
Number 4, Braxton Garrett, left-handed pitcher.
He was a draft pick.
Anyone can use a lefty. Number 5, Trevor Rogers, also a lefty.
Draft pick.
Number 6, Magneuris
Sierra. That was the Ozuna trade.
Eisen Diaz, second baseman, number 7.
I think that was the Yelich trade.
Look, I don't even think I need to go on and just say...
Nick Nieder, also, D. Gordon trade.
Nick Nieder,
he's number 9.
No, number 8. No, number 9 is James Nelson, third baseman.
Oh, then they must have swapped him. Niedert's 8?
Niedert is 8, yes.
See, do you have stats on where these players rank in terms of
for knowing all that?
No, that was
Jacob,
really good.
at this point, I just consider you a baseball / all sports entertainment walking encyclopedia. You just.
I am the walking encyclopedia. There's no question about that.
I don't even think that we need to move on from that case in terms of if you're the Marlins. They did the right move. Whether you think that Stanton to the Yankees was collusion, which it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Stanton put the Marlins over a barrel. He said he was only going to play for the Yankees, and Jeter made the best deal he could and got two pretty good players and one intriguing prospect in Jose Devers, who, if you go down further on that list, is in the 20s. You don't need to, I'm just saying.
No, like the thing that I'm trying to say in terms of that deal, the Stanton to the Yankees deal, it's just coincidence that it was Jeter selling to the Yankees.
Exactly.
Anybody who actually would say that was a conspiracy, I tell them just go chop your head off.
Like, what do you? Jason Varitek and Giancarlo Stanton would have been traded to the Yankees. So let's broaden our baseball horizons here. The Rays traded Alex Colomé, Denard Span, and $4.75 million to the Mariners for Andrew Moore and Tommy Romero. This year for Tampa Bay, Colomé went 2-5 for the 4.15 ERA and 11 saves. I liked having him on my fantasy team. And Span hit .238 with 4 home runs and 28 RBIs. Eric, I'm really upset that I had to pick up Brad Ziegler for Colomé. I'd rather have Colomé than Ziegler, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean,
I have the Marlins closer.
I mean, if you really want me to get into
this...
And,
like, the day I picked him up, he blew a save. Did you guys hear about this? He gave up, like, 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning. It was so annoying.
When was this?
This was Saturday, I think.
I mean, I guess I missed that, but if you really want me to go in depth, the Mariners won this deal 100% because, the Mariners can't afford to get lost in the AL West behind the Astros and the Angels, so they're trying to compete, obviously. I mean...
They lost Cano for 80 games,
which sucks,
and D. Gordon's hurt.
Yeah,
Jerry Dipoto did the right thing here.
Yeah, and it was very unfortunate about Cano, by the way. But obviously, if you're a Colomé, you need bullpen help. 11 saves goes a long way.
Having him with Edwin Diaz, the Mariners have a great bullpen.
Denard Span, veteran experience. You can plug him in the outfield, sure.
Good backup outfielder.
But the Mariners are gearing up to try and win. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team.
They're trying for a wild card spot.
They're not catching the Astros.
No.
There's no way.
They're trying for a wild card spot, and I commend them for it.
But you can catch the Angels. You can absolutely try and catch the Angels. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but obviously you kind of commend the Rays for selling off because,
This was a horrible trade for the Rays.
Yeah, it's a horrible trade, but at least they're smart enough to realize that they're not going to compete in the American League East right now.
They got no one that is going to help them in the future. Tommy Romero is not a top 30 prospect, according to MLB.com. Andrew Moore last year was horrible. The only reason that the Rays got this lackluster haul was because they had to attach Denard Span and $4.75 million to this deal. It's because Stuart Sternberg is a horrible owner. He doesn't understand baseball. He cut his nose to spite his face. Mark Talkovsky, I felt so bad for him when I saw this trade.
I feel bad for him just being a Rays fan.
He told me that he would have traded Colomé. I don't think he would have done this trade, I'll tell you that. This is a horrible trade.
It's just lopsided. And
Get baseball out of Florida. Please. I understand the Marlins have a bright future. That's fine if you want to keep them. Okay, I prefer to see him in Montreal. The Montreal Marlins does have a nice ring to it. But get the Rays out of Tampa Bay, please.
Something in the water in Florida.
Oh, my God. No, you know what it is? Florida's just not a baseball town. They've got a lot of supplanted New Yorkers, but they only care about the Yankees and the Mets. They don't care about the Rays or the Marlins.
And every other team has spring training down there also.
Exactly. Florida cannot support one baseball team, let alone 2. It's like Los Angeles with football. That's going to implode.
Yeah, now that's...
very soon, I promise
Chargers are like
you that.
playing in a soccer stadium
Yeah,
for their
exactly.
year.
And the Rams, too, are going to implode. The only reason that the Rams are drawn is because they're a good team. When that team even takes one step below where they are, they're going to be horrible. So we got about 2 minutes left. It's time for the bottom of the 9th. Eric, we'll start with you.
So this one's actually going to go to the New York Knicks. Now, on Friday, it was the anniversary of John Starks dunking over Michael Jordan. Full circle, right? Now, there are a couple of fans that are putting that in a category of Willis Reed walking out onto the court for a Game 7. And to that, I just say stop it. Because number one...
It was a great Knick moment, but it's nowhere near Reed.
Yeah, that's it. It was a moment. Yes, the Knicks won that game where Starks dunked over Jordan, but they lost the series. Willis Reed coming out onto the Garden floor Game 7 not only won the game, won their first title, and was basically just an incredible moment in Knicks history. Nothing can ever top that. Don't you ever put a dunk by John Starks into a pivotal Game 7. I'm sorry. That was just...
Yeah, but
Dumb.
Reed didn't do that well in that game if you look at the statistics.
Willis Reed hit the first 2 shots, and that was it.
Exactly. He provided the spark that the Knicks need, but overall he did not do well in that game. Just a nice footnote in Knick history. Joe?
Mine goes out to Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell, who recently put out a song, I guess, because athletes want to be rappers want to be
Lonzo Ball.
athletes,
Yep.
that whole thing. So he put out a song, and it's called Target, and it's actually talking about a lot of the stuff that's been going on with his contract negotiation with the Steelers. He feels he's more worth than the franchise price tag. I listened to this. I listened to the song. It was okay. He made some interesting debate, for discussion, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. It was pretty entertaining.
All right, sounds good. Eleanor?
I want to congratulate Acadie Bathurst Titan from the Quebec Major Junior League on their 3-0 win against the Regina Pats of the Western Hockey League to win the 2018 Memorial Cup.
Congratulations to that QMJHL team that I am not even going to attempt to pronounce.
Everything hockey.
Exactly.
It's all hockey with her, nothing else.
I know, my goodness gracious.
You live up to your name very well.
Oh, thank you.
So, Bill Mallory passed away on Friday after a fall at the age of 82. In his career, he went 168, 129, and 4, and is University of Indiana's all-time winningest football coach, and was great for Northern Illinois also. Very underrated coach. All right, looks like we're about out of time here on Beyond the Game. For Eric Fischetti, Joe Ardita, and the true hockey maven, tell what that other guy can't say that enough, Eleanor Chompy. I am Jacob Valk saying, shout out to you, Bertie Tebbett.